I want to give massive thanks to all of my supporting members and patrons. Thank you all so very much.
I wonder if all of science is going to be rewritten. I guess I will have to see. Welcome to this Flat Earth v Globe Earth debate between Mr. Sensible and Bumpy Earth 420.
Hello, good evening and welcome to everybody. Great to see so many of you in here already. Good start. Yes, Bumpy Earth 420 is there, waiting in a waiting room. This is on tonight, which is great stuff. Couple of things. I won't go through the chat room saying hello to everyone. Please take it as read. Big hello and thank you to all of you. Visitors, subscribers, members, patrons, all of you. Thank you. Super chats. What we'll be doing is, as it says above, my beautifully polished head, super chats will be held to the end and we'll go through them. So if you've got questions for Bumpy, please feel free to ask. I realise people are going to have strong views, that's fine, but I do reserve the right not to read out a chat if it is just pure abuse, okay, or if it's too abusive. So I hope you understand that. It's a fairly open format tonight. What we're going to have is a few minutes each, and to be honest, we actually didn't even decide who's going to go first. A few minutes each to present our evidences, and then we're going into open debate. I've spoken briefly with him. Seems decent enough. We dealt over email. Seems decent enough. So I'm hopeful that we'll have an interesting chat tonight. It is Flat Earth versus Globe, of course. So let me just get set up and try and bring him in, and let's see where we get to. Oh yeah, sorry. No, I'll tell you what. I'm not going to read the chat because it's too distracting. I appreciate the comments though. So, hello, Bumpy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Excellent. Yes, I can hear you. And if you can just say something else, I'll just check your volume level.
Hello?
That's nice.
Can you hear me?
Yes, certainly can. It's all good as far as I can tell. Brilliant. Right, so first of all, thank you very much for coming. Thank you for agreeing to chat tonight. I really appreciate it. It was very easy to sort out between us, wasn't it? There was no rancor either way, I don't think.
Nope.
Cool.
Pretty simple.
Yep. Well, would you like to introduce yourself, tell people a bit about yourself?
Yeah. Fucking hip-hop hippie, a.k.a. Mad Mardigan, killing trolls. So trolls, go hide under your bridges. I don't know, have you seen Willow? Have you seen that movie?
No. I've heard of it, but no, I haven't.
Man. Well, Mad Mardigan's a beast.
Okay.
And I just want to say hi to my beautiful, sexy woman, my fiance,
And why
Dandelion. She might be in the chat. I don't know.
Well, hello
Maybe.
to her. Hello to her. So,
Yeah.
right. Now, I understand that you call yourself a Bumpy Earther, not a Flat Earther. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm a bumpy earther. I think flat earthers need to catch up.
Can you just briefly just explain what you see as the difference?
Yeah, the earth is bumpy. It's not flat. I mean, there's mountains, there's hills, there's canyons. You know, it's bumpy. Would you consider that bumpy?
Yes, I would, but then I wouldn't have thought it's an issue for flat earthers either. But okay, we can go into that a bit if we need to. Right. Well, we didn't even get round to tossing a coin as to who's going to go first. So, which way do you want to play it? Do you want to go first?
Sure. Don't
Okay.
matter.
Okay. I'll switch you to the prime position and just give you a few minutes because we haven't even agreed a time. So I'll keep quiet and let you go ahead and tell us why you think the Earth is not a globe, why you think it's flat stroke bumpy. Okay.
Well, okay.
Thank you.
To claim the Earth is a globe, you're claiming a shape. I'm not claiming a shape. I'm claiming an attribute. So I sent you a video. It's called Mountains.
Right, sorry, I'd muted myself. Sorry, do you want me to play this video now, do you?
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
if you give me a second, I'll just... oh yeah, I see there's a message here. I'll just load that up. Is it the whole video or a certain
No, I mean
timestamp in it?
you could even play it at like max speed. I don't care. Just it'll get to the point real quick.
Okay, you'll have to shout me if you want to stop. So let me just call it up onto the screen.
Okay.
Right. Okay, that should be there. So let's go.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. As you can see, there's mountains or islands, whatever that is. Looks like both. Mountain, because the Earth is bumpy. We have mountains. We have hills. We have canyons. Oh my God. The Earth is bumpy. Okay. So you can stop the video. You don't need to keep playing it.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna send you another video. It's from Wolfie 6020. It's the equatorial mount time lapse footage.
Okay. Well, as soon as I get that, I'll pull that up.
Okay. And my argument isn't the mount per se, it's the clock drive on the mount. Okay. And I'm sending it over to you right now.
Okay. Yeah, I've just got that. Let me grab the link.
Okay.
And again, is it the whole video? Is it a certain part of the video?
No, you could just play it on the time lapse. You don't even have to play the volume.
Okay. Right. Here you go.
So this is from Wolfie 6020, and it's a EQ mount pointing at the sun, and there's a motor on the mount. It's called a clock drive. That proves that the Earth is stationary because the clock drive has to follow the sun. It moves the telescope to follow the sun. So the sun moves from east to west every day. And this proves that the Earth is stationary because the telescope's not moving anymore. The clock is moving the telescope, the motor. So, yeah, sky moves, and there you go. That's about it.
Okay. And right, so do you need that up on the screen anymore?
No, that's fine. You can take it down.
Okay.
And yeah, bumpy, stationary, and yep. Debunk me.
Okay. All right. So that's what you've brought. So okay. Well, what I'll do is I will. If you finished, yeah.
Yeah. I'm finished.
Okay. Right. I'll show you what I've got then, and then as well you can try and debunk me. Right. So let me just call up my evidences, and one of them's just actually got himself disappeared. Oh, right. Sorry, bear with me a second. For some reason it started playing when I wasn't watching it. Right, I've got it on pause now. Okay, I'm going to sort of tackle this in three ways. The first thing I'm going to do is talk about stellar rotation. Okay, so let me call up what I've got. So here's the view. I believe this may have been shot in Australia. That's not too important, but it's certainly shot south of the equator. So first of all, what we've got is stars moving around Polaris, although Polaris is below the horizon because we're too far south. I don't know how that would work on a flat Earth, but there you go. But we can see what we all know happens. The stars rotate around a point in the sky, pretty darn close, but not exactly on, pretty darn close to Polaris, and you end up with those beautiful star trail patterns if you use, if you stack the images. But then, of course, in the south, so this is actually filmed from the same location but looking southwards, the stars... Oh, no, sorry, I've got the wrong... Oh, I've got southern twice. Sorry, 1 second, let me just load up the north one. Beg your pardon. We all know what was going to happen with this, though. Let me just pop that in. Okay, so this one's... Oh, this is the one looking north. Is this the one I just showed? I'm not sure. So we've got north going one way, and we've got south... I think I'm showing the same bit twice, aren't I? Yeah, there you go. There's south going the other way. We know that happens. So the point is 2 points of stellar rotation. It is apparently rotating, depending which direction you look, in the opposite direction. It's actually, of course, moving from east to west. It's like if you're in a train, or a better example is in a car driving forward. If you look out one window, everything's passing you from left to right. You look out the opposite side, everything's passing you from right to left. But everything is actually going in the same direction. And I cannot think how that could happen on a flat Earth. And with, let me call up this clip. There we go. There we go. If you lock a telescope using an EQ mount, an equatorial mount, on a point in the sky and leave it running, you'll see that it looks as though the stars are stationary and the whole Earth, the whole Earth appears to be turning, because it's depending which frame of reference. Either you keep still so the stars appear to move, or you lock onto a star so the Earth appears to move. So you can't actually tell anything about whether they're moving or you're moving just from either of those, other than the fact that the 2 points of stellar rotation, which you cannot have on a flat surface. If you think of a record deck with a record on it, you've got one hole for the spindle. That's your point of rotation. You can't put two holes and rotate around both of them. It doesn't work. Okay, so that's my first one, which is about 2 points of stellar rotation. The next one, I don't know if you've heard of these, but it's something called towing tanks. Got a couple of short clips. You must have seen these, even if you didn't know what they were called. These are the tanks they use. They built so they can put waves in them to scale and test models of ships that they're designing or building. Everything has to be to scale and has to be very well controlled. If you see that gantry that the boat is suspended from, that gantry is running on rails. Now those rails must be absolutely level above the surface of the water, because if they're going up or down, it's going to be either lifting or pushing the boat down a bit, which is obviously not good for tests. Excuse me. Now, if you've got a curve, like this blue curve here, from one end to the other, if you draw a line, that's the chord line, directly from one to the other. The bit in the middle is what most flat earthers would talk about being the hump that would have to be there on a curved surface. This line here is called the sagitta. It's basically the height of that hump. Now, in, which was it, University of Southampton, they built, a few years back, they built a big towing tank for testing or whatever. Now this one is actually, let's see, 138 metres long. So, it's quite long, but it's not massive in the scale of constructions. You think of things like suspension bridges. This is only 138 metres long. Now those rails, which have to be absolutely perfect, cannot be lined up straight using either a laser or a telescope due to the temperature gradient in the air. Basically, a laser or a telescope are not even accurate enough over 138 or 135 metres. This is the interesting thing, though. The rails must be aligned vertically to follow the curvature of the Earth, horizontally and in roll. And in Southampton, the sagitta, the height of that hump from east to west of a tank 138 metres long, is 0.6 millimeters. So even on a length of 138 meters, with water being level following the curve of the Earth, there's a hump of 0.6 millimeters. And my final evidence is just that what you can do is you can send up a balloon and you can photograph the curve of the Earth. And that, my dear friend, are my three evidences. So what do you think of them apples? Hello? Hello, Grant? Hello? You got cut off? Oh, no, you're not in there. Oh, can you get back in? Oh, well, that's great, isn't it? I don't think that's fair to call that a rage quit. Oh, he's back again. Let me just drag him in. Hello? Hello. Oh. Hello, Bumpy. What's going on? He's there in the waiting room. And when I try and drag him in... Let me try drag him in again. Maybe he's still connecting. Hello. Hello. Hold on. I'm just going to jump in there and ask him what's it. Hey, is everything all right?
I got cut off. I don't know what happened.
Okay. I'm trying to drag you into the live waiting. Actually, just speak a minute. I'll see if it's being picked up, because otherwise we'll carry on here. Just say something.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it looks like it. We'll have to carry on here then. I don't know what's happening. So did you hear my evidences?
I heard the Star Trails
Okay.
evidence, both north and south, and then the EQ mount being fixed.
Yeah.
Did
you hear or see anything about the towing tanks?
No, that's when it got cut off.
Okay, right. Well, that's all right. That's okay. I mean, these things happen. It's not a problem. I'll run through it, but a bit more quickly. First of all, let me just load it back up on screen. So you have these towing tanks where they test models of ships. They're built so they can make waves to scale for the ships and make sure that they'll work in a real environment. Now, these ships are dragged along with that moving gantry there, which runs on rails on each side. Those rails have to be absolutely perfectly level, because if they lift or dip, it's going to be lifting or pushing the boat down. With a curve, if you had a curved Earth, that blue arch there, the line directly between the two endpoints is called the chord, and the bit in between is what flat earthers would call the hump that you'd have to see on a flat Earth. That line there, that little vertical line, is called the sagitta. Basically, it's the height of the hump. And I was saying that University of Southampton, they built a towing tank. It's 138 metres long, and those rails had to be absolutely perfectly level above the surface of the water, and that meant that at the location of Southampton on the Earth, those rails had to have a hump, if you like, in the middle of 0.6 millimetres to make sure that they followed precisely above the level water, which conforms to the shape of a globe. Okay.
0.6 millimeters?
0.6 millimetres, yeah. And it even says, just above, a laser or a telescope couldn't be used to get that accuracy, just due to the temperature gradient. So basically refraction, which would throw a telescope or a laser out. And I think it took them about 2 weeks to do it. One guy has to do it, so it's the same person, so it's not differences in people's vision. The same person had to do all the adjustments on all those little blocks you can see along the side that are holding the rail in place, because they can push the rail slightly up, slightly down, left, right, and so on. So it had to be absolutely perfect. Now this is, I originally heard this some time ago. A guy, was it Flow Rider, on one of my 1 minute debunk streams. He did a debunk of the flat Earth using that, and he actually had a different document. I couldn't find his original document, so this is a second location on the internet where it talks about it. So basically it has to be constructed in such a way that the rails can perfectly follow the surface of the water, because you don't want them buckling down and pushing a boat down. You don't want them pulling a boat out the water. It has to be absolutely perfectly level. Since the Earth is curved, the water's curved, so the rail has to curve. And in this case, on 138 metre length, that curve is just over half a millimetre. Not much, but it's there. And the last thing I said, my third evidence was you can send a balloon up and you can take a photo of the curve of the Earth. And then I said, what do you think of them apples? And you'd gone. So
Oh,
that's all right.
yeah. Okay, so did you know that your buddies, Fight the Flat Earth, Team Skeptic, Red's Rhetoric, Sean Hufford, all of them have conceded that the horizon is not Earth curve. Have you heard that before?
I have heard something about that. I've not heard the actual conversation to know exactly what they were talking about. I mean, a sphere doesn't have an edge; it has one continuous face. And if that face is curving away from you, there's going to be a point where the sphere itself gets in the way of seeing any more of the sphere. That's the geometric horizon. That's as far as you could see if there was no refraction. If we were, if the Earth had no atmosphere, or if we were on the Moon, which of course is a totally different size, but if you're on a body without atmosphere, no refraction, you could calculate the exact distance that you would be able to see, forgetting mountains and valleys and things like that. If it's a perfectly smooth sphere, you could calculate the exact distance to the geometric horizon, and that would match your visual horizon. We get refraction, so sometimes the visual horizon is in front of, sometimes it's behind the geometric horizon. I was thinking about this the other day because Nathan Oakley's always talking about the fact that, you can't see it, therefore it's not there. Think of looking through someone's really thick glasses, looking around. You could see everything, but everything's slightly distorted and not exactly where you think it would be. That's the sort of situation we've got. The atmosphere distorts it slightly with refraction, so what you can actually see maybe just in front of or just behind the physical horizon. The physical horizon, the geometric horizon. That's the word I'm looking for. So that may be what they're talking about. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to ask you the same question I asked them. Is the horizon Earth curve?
What do you mean? No? Hold on. What do you mean, left to right?
No, is the horizon the Earth curve? Is it the curve of the Earth?
So the distance... Well, as I said, you've got a difference between the apparent horizon that you can see and the physical geometric horizon.
Well, we only see one horizon.
We only see one, but it changes, doesn't it? We've all seen that. We've all seen that black swan. It changes because we've seen photos with the horizon in front of those oil rigs, and we've seen photos with a horizon behind those oil rigs.
Okay,
but you only see one at a time, yeah.
Well, so again, is the horizon Earth curve?
The horizon is the furthest distance you're able to see with the current atmospheric conditions at that time, because beyond that the light is not reaching you because of the Earth's surface as it's curving away from you. So
it's not Earth curve?
I just said it's as far as you can see because the Earth, because the curve, let me start that again. Because the surface is curving away from you and to your eyes downwards, you can only see so far round it. If you go up higher, you'll see that little bit further around it. Hence, when you're in an aeroplane, you can see a long way.
Well, did you know it's supposed to be your Earth curve? Did you know that?
Well, I just said that the horizon is the furthest distance you can see. You can't see... you can see tall items that are beyond the horizon. You'll see the top part of them. That's all the stuff with ships going over the horizon or mountains.
Going over the curve, right?
Beyond the curve, yes. Yes.
So the horizon is a curve.
If you're looking in any one direction, I'm looking straight at the camera. the Earth's curving away, I'll be able to see so far, and I won't be able to see beyond that point because the Earth is curved down and out of
I
sight.
really, I really don't know why it's so difficult, but can I just get like a yes or no answer? Is that okay? Like, is the horizon Earth curve? If it is, then okay, and if it's not, then it's not. I mean, your buddies say it's not Earth curve,
Well, like
so
I said, I don't know
do you
about.
agree with
I
me?
don't know about. I have heard that comment before, but I don't know what context it was used in.
Well, they
To my
this is what
mind,
they said.
I'm going to try and give you a yes no. Yeah, to my mind, due to the shape of the Earth, when you're looking in a direction, you'll only see so far because yes, the curve of the Earth prevents you seeing more. Does that answer
So
your question? I'm trying to answer your question.
it'd just be so much easier if it was yes or no. I mean,
Well, there was a
because
yes
they
in there.
say this is what they say.
Okay,
This
okay.
is what buddies say. They say the horizon is not Earth curve, but it is the effect of Earth curve. So they say it's not the Earth curve.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm saying, isn't it? It's as far as you can see because of the curve of the Earth. So the effect
So
of
it's
the
not
Earth.
Earth curve.
Well, I think it's sort of picking at semantics, really. I mean, I'll be
How is
open
that
and
semantic?
well, I'm being honest. I fell foul some time ago in a perfectly innocent and accurate statement being used against me time and time and time again, but with it being cherry picked. Now, I'm not accusing you of anything like that, but I'm trying to be careful because if I say something that some flat earthers may just try and jump on, okay, I'm not trying to lie to you or hide anything or avoid the question. You can only see so far because, yes, the Earth is curving away. That distance that you can see is the horizon. There is the geometric horizon, but the visual horizon that you see, the apparent horizon, moves closer or further away purely depending on atmospheric conditions. If we had no atmosphere, that horizon would exactly match always the geometric horizon.
Would it? But we always
Yeah.
have atmosphere, so
Yes,
how
yes, we do.
would it?
But as a thought experiment, if you took the atmosphere away, or if you went onto the moon, again leaving aside mountains, you find an area without mountains and craters and things like that, you will see a certain distance, the geometric distance, which will exactly match your visual distance because there's no atmosphere to refract it. There's no mirages, there's no looming or fata morganas or anything like that. It's pure geometrics. That's what you'll see. Because we live in an atmosphere, in effect, a very weak lens. All the time you're looking through a lens. You know, if you look at someone with a pair of glasses, the side of their head doesn't sort of match up, does it? Because the lens distorts it. That's what the atmosphere does to us. It gives a very slight distortion to absolutely every view you take.
So is the horizon Earth curve? Because it's supposed to be blocking buildings and boats.
Yes,
You know,
yes, it does
everybody
block.
says ships go over the horizon. The
Yes,
horizons are blocking bottoms of buildings,
yes,
so it must be the horizon, right? Or it must be Earth curve. The horizon must be your Earth curve. It must be.
it is. But
So it is Earth curve.
it's the horizon is caused by the curve of the Earth.
So it's not Earth curve.
I think we,
If it
excuse me.
if it's the Earth curve, you can say that. You can say it's Earth curve. You
Well, I
would just
said
be
it's
debunking
the
somebody's
curve
buddy.
of the Earth causes the horizon. Because the Earth is curved, you can only see so far. That point is called, it would be the geometric horizon. Because we have an atmosphere, what we see may be subtly different, or on some occasions, like the black swan, may be strikingly different. But
So the horizon's not Earth curve,
I just said
right?
that the horizon is caused by the curve of the Earth.
So yeah, it
Okay,
okay. So you're saying it's caused by the curve of the Earth, but
what
it's not the
what
curve of
do
the Earth.
you mean? What do you mean by horizon? Can you define horizon?
Yeah, it's the apparent location where the sky and ground appear to meet.
Yes, they
That's what
do.
it is.
Okay.
But that's not Earth curve. It doesn't say Earth curve.
No, that doesn't. And if you had a flat Earth, there would be a horizon, although it would be so far away it would be lost in the distance and you just see a fuzzy mess. But in effect, the sky again would appear to meet the ground. It
Do you
doesn't.
have that model?
Sorry, what
You said
model?
you said a flat Earth model.
No,
would
no.
not show. Do you have that model?
I haven't got a model of the flat Earth. Flat Earth doesn't work.
Well, then how do you know that?
Well,
The
if you
horizon
had two,
look a certain way.
okay, just visualize. You're stood on one infinitely long flat plane, and there's a flat plane of the sky above you where the clouds are. As they go off, they'll just like a row of streetlights going off in due to perspective. Those two planes will go into perspective until they apparently meet. But with a flat Earth, because it's not at quite a limited distance due to curve, a flat Earth, it would be so far away that everything's too small and fuzzy to make out anything. But in effect, the sky and the ground would appear to meet on a flat Earth.
Do you have that? The sky and the ground would appear to meet
Appear to, yes.
on the flat Earth.
Yes.
On the flat Earth, they would. So the horizon.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the horizon is.
Yeah. That's where they appear to meet. You said that's your sort of definition of the word horizon. I'm not disagreeing that the sky does appear to meet the ground or the ocean at that horizon, but that horizon is caused by the curve of the Earth. And
Well, that's an assumption.
well, it's not an assumption.
Right.
It's not an assumption
an
because
assumption.
you can see boats going over the horizon. If you
So
had,
going over the curve.
yes, if you had a small
Well,
boat.
why did you say horizon?
Sorry, did I say going over the horizon? If so,
Yeah.
I misspoke. I'm talking about going over the curve at that horizon point. If you had a small
So
boat,
the horizon is the curve. So the horizon is the curve. Then
Hold on
I'm
a-
just a bit confused because when I was in high school and middle school and kindergarten, I was always taught that the horizon is the curve. But now I got Fight the Flat Earth, Team Skeptic, Red's Rhetoric, Sean Hufford, all telling me the horizon isn't the curve.
yeah, but it could be a case of definitions because they're not wanting to get caught out by
Well, yeah,
By-
they don't
by
want
pe-
to get called out by
No,
flat
ju-
earthers because
who
they're actually
who
our
could
argument. Do you know
misquote
our
them.
argument?
I'm sorry, say
Do you,
again.
do you know our argument about about the horizon?
What?
How it's not Earth curve?
Okay, go on then. Give us your argument why it's not Earth curve.
Well, no, that's our argument. Is the horizon is not Earth curve?
Okay,
You
right.
guys say it is. You guys say that it is Earth curve.
Right, let me give you a
Like-
scenario. Let me give you a scenario here, Bumpy. If you had a small boat, let's say a canoe, say paddling off on the sea, it will get so far away that you can't see it. It's too small to see due to perspective and the distance, your angular resolution. You pull out a pair of binoculars, well, you can suddenly see it again. Of course, because they have magnified it. Now, if you took the same with a tanker ship, great big oil tanker or something like that, it's going away from you, it's getting smaller, but before it gets too small to see, the bottom of it disappears. Not the top, that's still slowly shrinking, but the bottom has suddenly disappeared because there's a heap of water in the way, because it's gone round a curve.
Okay, show me.
What, a picture of a tanker? Okay, let's see. Let me just open up another. I did have a good example. You'll have to give me a minute, okay? Because I did something about that just recently. I'm trying to think which video it was in. I can't find the actual videos. Okay, let me find you. Google an image for you then. Oh, what's happened there? Oh, my Gmail. Right, ship horizon. Okay, let me just open this up onto a new tab. Sorry, pal, I'm just trying to mess around with this to get it to load up, okay? Window
No problem. Take
capture.
your time.
Right, let me just get it to look at this other window.
Hey, Mr. S. Can you hear me, old
Yeah.
fucker?
Sorry, Mitch. I'm in the middle of a debate. Yeah, sorry. We've had to do this in the waiting room. Sorry. Okay, can you see that? Has that come through?
Yep.
Yeah. That ship is over the horizon. You cannot see any of the hull of the ship.
So the horizon's Earth curve.
Well, that ship is over the curve. It's hidden because of the curve. Because that's not.
Isn't that a horizon?
That is the horizon, the visual horizon. Yeah, but what I was going to say was it's nothing to do with perspective, because those three masts are actually a lot thinner than the hull of the ship. They haven't disappeared, and it doesn't matter how much telescope you chuck at it, or P900, P1000, or whatever. You could make those sails look bigger, you could make the mast look bigger, you could make the rigging visible perhaps, but you ain't never going to see that hull again, because it's around the curve of the Earth.
So is that not a horizon?
Yes, it's beyond the horizon.
Yeah, so the horizon is your Earth curve, right?
Okay. And
yes or no? Yeah? Is the horizon your Earth curve?
yes, that's the curve. That horizon is the point beyond which you cannot see because of the curve. I think we're going around in circles. I don't think I'm disagreeing with you. I don't know why you can't accept that as an answer.
I'm just asking. That is the horizon right there, right?
Okay, so
yes, right?
Yes,
is that the horizon?
There is the horizon there. Yes.
So that is the curve, right?
Right.
Well, then, why are all your buddies saying the horizon's not the curve?
Well, like I said, I wasn't privy to that conversation or video if it was on video. So what I would say is, if you have a disagreement or if you think they're wrong about something, you'll need to speak to them about it.
Well, we could watch one of the videos where they say it.
Well, you could have provided a clip of something like that as some sort of evidence. I don't know. But since I don't know the conversation, I don't know the context, I can't comment on whether they're right or wrong. Okay?
Well,
I told you. You're debating me. You're debating me, Bumpy. Okay? I've given you my answer.
Yeah. Okay. So the horizon is the curve. That's your answer.
There is curve there, and because of the curve, you can't see beyond a certain point. That point that you can't see beyond, we call the horizon. Yes.
So, okay, well, then you should tell your buddies, Fight the Flat Earth, Team Skeptic, and Red's Rhetoric, that they're wrong, because they keep telling me that the horizon is not the curve.
Okay.
So,
well, maybe. I
don't know.
If you want, I can let Fight know if you want to go on a debate with him about it. I'm sure he'd be up for that.
I've had many debates with him, and he's told me it many times, and he's also told me. He also told me that the Earth looks flat because it's supposed to. Why would he say that?
Well, again, you'll have to ask him. That's not me.
Well, I'm using your. What are you talking about? These are your buddies, though. They're supposed to have the same belief as you. So you guys believe in Earth curve, right?
Well, we follow the science of it, but I want to ask you. I want you to come up with some explanation or some commentary about that whole business of 2 points of stellar rotation, the stars rotating in one direction around Polaris and apparently the other direction. It's the same direction, but visibly the other direction roughly around Sigma Octantis. How can you have 2 points?
So the stars are rotating around Polaris?
Roughly, yes.
Well, that's my argument.
What do you mean that's your argument?
Talking about?
Okay, yes. So we don't disagree. They appear to rotate around. They appear to rotate around Polaris. I think it'd be hard to deny that. So how come?
They appear to? I thought you just said that they do.
No, they appear to, because in my video that showed. Let me just pull it up just so you can see that again. 1 second. If you look at this, are those stars moving?
Yeah.
Are those stars moving, or is the Earth moving?
The telescope's moving.
The telescope is moving, but those stars are not staying in place. Those stars are not in place over, for instance, that telegraph pole. So if you stuck your eyesight on the telegraph pole, the stars are going past. If you look at the stars, the telegraph's going past. Which is it?
Well, the stars are moving because the camera's moving. Why is the camera moving?
To counteract the rotation of the Earth. That's what an equatorial mount does. You line the mount up with the stellar point of rotation, basically Polaris, and then you only need to move your scope by clockwork in the example you had, or motor or whatever. You only need to get it to rotate in one direction, and it will follow the star.
Yeah, because the stars are moving. You have to move the telescope to follow the moving stars.
But I've just demonstrated with that clip. You could think of it as the you could think of it as the stars moving, or you could think of it as the Earth moving. Looking at one or the other.
You said the camera is moving, though.
Yes. Okay. Look at it this way, right? You're in a car driving along, and you drive past a tree, and you turn your head so you keep looking at the tree. Is the tree moving past you, or are you moving past the tree? Yes, your head's turning so that you're pointing your eyes straight at it, but which is moving, you or the tree? You could think of it as either way.
No, you can't, because you're in a car. You said the car is moving, so the car is moving.
Yes, but it's a frame of reference.
What does a car do? Is a car meant to move, or is it meant to just sit there? The car is moving.
But do you not see what I'm saying? Have you ever been parked in a car, looking out, and another car is moving past you? And does it make you feel as though you're moving backwards? Do you know the effect I'm talking about?
Yeah,
because you can't see anything else. You can't feel movement. The other car moves, but just in the pit of your stomach, just for that moment, you think you're rolling backwards, but it isn't. It's the other car that's rolling forwards.
No, you can see the car moving.
Yeah, but
you're sitting in a stationary car.
Yeah, but I'm talking about a car right next to you, so that all you can see.
Yeah, well, the car would be moving because you're stationary.
Okay, you're
not driving the car, you're sitting there.
You're sat in the left-hand side of a car. I'm sat in a car park right next to you, sat in the right-hand side. We're talking to each other. Our faces are 2 feet apart, and then suddenly I appear to your eyes to move to the left. Now, is that because my car's just suddenly rolling backwards or rolling forwards, or your car rolling backwards or rolling forwards? It's frame of reference. But I think that's getting a bit out of the scope of this. The point is an EQ mount. I'm sorry?
I mean, we can keep going on this if you want, because if I'm sitting in a stationary car and you start moving, I know you're moving.
How?
Because I'm not moving.
What? Because you can feel the movement.
In a stationary car.
Are you in? I'm assuming, Grant. Yes, I'm assuming you're in the US somewhere, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not sure about what trains there are there, but here between England and France, we got the Channel Tunnel, electrified railway, and it's one continuous rail. It's not like the old rails that have got all the joints. It's actually sort of welded all in one piece. The first time I went on that, we loaded our vehicle up, drove onto the train, sat in our car, and we didn't even realise that the train had started to move because it was that smooth. The only reason we knew is because we looked out of one of the windows, and they're very small windows. You can't necessarily tell. You can't feel speed. You can only feel changes in velocity. Sorry?
You can't tell when you're on a moving train?
Not at first, because it was so smooth.
Well, what train doesn't move? I mean, are you sitting?
No,
I don't understand.
Okay, I'm sat. It's a train that you drive your car onto, and you're inside a carriage inside your car. Okay, the train pulls away so smoothly. There's no jerk as it suddenly starts. It just pulls away so smoothly, and the rails are so straight and level and smooth that you can't. You're not sort of rocking and rolling all over the place. So smooth. You didn't even realise until it gets up to speed, and then you start to feel some movement. Until it's up to a speed, you don't even realise you're moving. So
you said you were moving because you were looking out the window.
Yeah, that's how I knew, because we went and looked. Because you can get out your car in the carriage, and there are some small windows. Oh my goodness, we're moving. We didn't realise. because it's that smooth. So again, we're starting to get off track. What's happened to my green screen? Have I? Oh no, my green screen's all right. Yeah. So it's frames of reference, points of view.
Well, you're just assuming that the Earth is moving. I don't have to assume that. I could just look up at the sky and see the stars move.
Have you ever heard of Mr. Bob Nadell? He found it's moving by 15 degrees per hour. Thanks, Bob. Didn't he? With his gyroscopes. What was his
observation?
He had a rather expensive, a $15,000 or $20,000 ring laser gyroscope. He switched it on, and he started picking up. It registered a movement of 15 degrees per hour, which, funnily enough, 15 degrees times 24 hours is 360 degrees, a circle.
So he observed. So he observed gyro drift. That's what he observed.
Yes. He observed the gyro was taking a reading of 15 degrees per hour. Yes.
So he observed a reading of 15 degrees per hour, gyro drift.
That's correct. Thanks, Bob.
So not Earth spin.
Well, what is it then?
I don't know. It's your claim. You say.
Well, what?
You
Okay.
say it's Earth spin,
Okay.
but it's really
It's
drift.
not a fault in that gyro. It's not a misreading in that gyro, because all of those gyroscopes will read 15 degrees per hour, and it's not that he was driving around with it. If you put it.
All gyros.
Well, if they're accurate enough. Yeah.
So, how many gyros exist?
Lots. But if you put that gyro on... Hold on, Bumpy. You put that gyro on a concrete floor, and that concrete floor ain't going anywhere, but it picks up a drift of 15 degrees per hour. If you picked it up and started turning it, you'd get different readings. You put it back down to concrete, it won't read 0, it will read 15 degrees per hour.
Okay.
Because that's the turning of the Earth.
No, it's gyro drift.
Well, what's gyro drift then? Well,
it's your claim. What
no, you've claimed it's gyro drift.
What is gyro
You want a gyroscope?
No, it's your original claim.
Yeah,
that the gyro drifting proves that the Earth spins.
Yes, and you claimed it's just gyro. It's not Earth spin. It's just gyro drift. So I'd like an explanation of what it is if it's not the Earth turning.
Why do I have to explain your claim?
I claimed. I claimed. Okay, let's try and be clear. I claimed that rather expensive gyroscope reads 15 degrees per hour because it is picking up the rotation of the Earth. If you claim otherwise, then you need to substantiate your claim.
Well, that's what you say.
Well,
how do you know?
Because Bob Nadell told us. Thanks, Bob.
Fight the Flat Earth told me the horizon's not Earth curve. Thanks, Craig.
I'll give you that one. I like that. You have to start a hashtag thanks Craig. By the way, hashtag thanks Bev. Right. So all the gyros read that. If you sit them down so that
you keep saying all gyros read that. How many gyros exist?
A lot. When you think about it, a gyroscope's used for things like aircraft and so on. They need to know their position and their direction and where they're pointing up, down, left, right, and all that sort of thing. That wouldn't be much good if they always had a margin of error or an error built in of 15 degrees.
Well, I'm still waiting for you to prove that.
Prove what? That it's 15 degrees?
That all gyros have a 15-degree drift.
Well, gyros don't disagree with each other. Otherwise, one or other, or lots of them, are worthless. Well, they've all got to be calibrated, and they'll read the same thing, won't they?
You made a claim saying all gyros detect 15-degree drift, and I'm just waiting for you to back up your claim.
Well, Bob Nadell tested that claim for us, because that was the claim, that gyros would pick that up. And in fact, I think, was it F.E. Core or Bob, it might have been Bob again, built or had made a beautiful mechanical gyroscope. It picked up 15 degrees drift, my understanding is. And he went on that TV program. Show you? Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah, show me.
Yeah, one sec. since we've got into this, let's play a bit of it. Here you go.
If the Earth is spinning at one rotation every 24 hours, that means that every hour it has to turn 15 degrees. Ring laser gyroscope.
Sound, is it? This is ring laser
extremely
gyroscope.
precise.
So it is.
If we could simply get one of these ring laser gyroscopes, we would be able to prove once and for all that there is no rotation to the Earth.
Thanks, Bob.
One of
This
the
is
people in the
expensive.
community
Ring laser
actually
gyroscope.
purchased one for $20,000.
You can set it
But
down.
what we found is
switch
when
it-
we
switch it
turned
on.
on that gyroscope,
And what happens,
we found
Bob?
that we were
me a
picking
second.
up a drift.
Switched it on, and he
15
started
degree
picking
per
up
hour
a
drift.
reading of 15 degrees per hour.
Well, that was a nice little cartoon, but
Well,
where did Bob-
that cartoon was just an illustration of it. Bob.
So where's him picking up 15-degree hour drift?
Well, there was him. I know you couldn't hear it. There was him actually admitting it and saying we switched it
Well,
on.
he was just said it. I mean, anybody could say anything.
Well, yeah. Bear in mind, you're talking about.
evidence.
You're bearing in mind. Bear in mind, you're talking about someone who was considered at the time a leading flat earther, and he fully expected.
Like
He fully expected not to pick up any reading, any drift, because it sat there on the desk or on the floor or wherever it put it, and he was
Well, you
as
keep
shocked.
saying he picked up this drift, but where's this? Where is this? Show me him picking up 15-degree drift.
Well, you'll have to go and watch the video on Netflix or wherever it is to see the full thing.
Oh.
But that was a clip of him talking about it. He is explaining his experiment that he was trying to prove that the flat Earth was stationary.
What was his observation?
His observation was a gyroscope sat apparently stationary on the floor was picking up a reading saying it was moving by 15 degrees per hour. Thanks, Bob.
Show me.
I just showed you the clip of the film. The fact that he didn't.
You showed him talking about it. I want to see him do it.
Well, I'd like to see some evidence from you, though.
What evidence do I need? I showed you my evidence. Bumpy Earth, mountains,
Yeah,
hills,
but I
valleys,
don't-
canyons.
Okay, I don't know quite why you did that, because both flat earthers and globe earthers are both happy to say, yep, there's mountains, yep, there's valleys, yep, there's inclines and declines. Yeah, the Earth is bumpy no matter what shape it is, flat or spherical. There are bumps on it.
Then you're the one. Well, you're the one who needs to start showing evidence then, because
Well, I showed you.
you're the one who claims that it's a globe.
Yeah, I showed you stellar rotation. We agree that the stars appear to rotate around Polaris. Okay, we know they move in circles around it. That's fine. You agree with me. Everyone knows
That's
that.
my claim. That's my claim.
Yeah.
though.
Okay. Well,
Stars
well, it's a
rotate
claim
around
nobody would disagree with. Okay. So you're
Well,
doing
then
good
what's
so
the
far.
problem?
The problem is
Then welcome to flat
the
Earth.
problem is no, because that wouldn't prove the flat Earth. That would just prove there's some
You're saying
rotation.
the stars
Okay,
rotate.
listen.
You say the
You
stars
asked me for
rotate
my
around
evidence. Okay, so we all agree that the stars rotate roughly around Polaris. Your problem is they also
my argument.
rotate around Sigma Octantis. How can they be
That's my
rotating?
argument.
Hold on, that's your argument as well.
Stars rotating? Yeah, that's my exact argument.
They're
Sky
rotating.
is moving.
They're rotating around 2 points. If they're rotating around 2 points, Earth might be a cube, Earth might be a dodecahedron, Earth might be egg-shaped. The one thing Earth is not is flat, because you can't have 2 points of rotation on a flat surface. If it's got 2 points of rotation, that's because it's a three-dimensional object.
You're claiming the stars are rotating.
I showed it.
Okay. Yeah, that's my argument. I said the sky is rotating.
Yes,
The
but
sun is rotating.
I showed you them rotating around 2 points. If
Yeah, I
you
know.
sorry,
That's my argument.
oh,
You're admitting that the stars rotate around the sky, up in the sky, right? You're admitting that.
it's not an admission. I know that they are. I can go out, look at the stars, come round and look out in a
Then
couple
welcome
hours
to flat
later and
Earth.
see they've that doesn't make it flat though. That doesn't
Yeah.
the fact that they're
Welcome to
rotating around.
Bumpy Earth.
Hold on, Bumpy.
Welcome
The
to
fact
Bumpy Earth.
the fact that they're rotating around Polaris, okay, doesn't show it's flat, doesn't show it's globe. It just shows this rotation. The
Then
problem.
why would you use that as evidence if it doesn't show either way?
Okay, now get this. I use that as evidence because not only are they rotating around Polaris, they're also rotating around that point over there in the south. How can it be rotating around 2 points?
You keep telling me it's rotating. That is my argument. My argument is they are rotating.
Yeah, well, that's what I said about frames of reference. Call it the stars rotating, call it Earth rotating. That doesn't matter.
So
the point is, the stars appear to be moving in 2 different circles. How can they move in 2 different circles? But
they're not supposed to be. Well, in your model, they're not supposed to be.
Absolutely
They're not supposed to be rotating around Polaris.
Why?
No, they're
yes,
not.
Why? Go on, tell me what's wrong with my model then. Why aren't they rotating apparently around Polaris?
It's supposed to be spinning. It's not the stars aren't supposed to be rotating. Your Earth is supposed to be spinning.
Okay, if you sat on a roundabout, a merry-go-round, is that what you call them, merry-go-rounds, or in the States? I'm not sure. Yeah. If you look up in the sky, the clouds are rotating in one direction. Well, that roundabout is turning. If you look down at your feet, they're rotating in a different direction. There's another point of you could put your finger on the point that you're rotating around in the middle by your feet. You could put your point up to the sky to the point where you're rotating up there above you. If it was just a flat surface, how could you say it's rotating there and it's rotating over there at the same time? How? If you get me... Sorry?
Wait a second. You said you look at the ground and you see rotation.
Yes.
When do you look at so if you look at the ground right now, do you see rotation?
No, because I'm moving with the surface of the Earth. I'm talking about if you're sat on a merry-go-round or something like that.
Yeah, you said you look at the ground and you see rotation. When you look at the ground, do you see any rotation?
Not when I'm sat here, no, because I'm not moving in respect to the floor. Hold on. If I start turning my chair and look down, then yes, I'll see rotation, won't I?
Well,
here you go.
Assuming you're moving.
I'm going to put myself into the larger position just so you can see a bit better. A piece of paper, although you might see it, I've made 2 holes. So there is a hole there. That paper can rotate around that point, yes? But I've made a second. Now this will be tricky. I'm going to try and do 2 at once. Oh, damn. This is hard. I've now got 2 points. How can I do circles around both at the same time, at the same rate?
Because the stars are moving. You're not rotating. You've said the stars are rotating.
I said it depends. Right, it depends. Forget about that. You can
Why would I forget about that?
Because don't seem to be able to get past this. If you look at the night sky, the stars appear to be rotating, and you have been saying that they are rotating. Okay, we'll just go with that just for the argument, okay? Because I'll say it's the Earth, but let's just go with that. It's the stars moving around the Earth. All right. The problem comes.
To go with that, then that's.
Hold on, let me finish. So, the problem is, you look towards Polaris. They are moving in circles around Polaris. You look the other direction, they're moving in circles over there. How can you have 2 points? If you grab a piece of paper, I could turn the paper like that. If I grab 2 ends, I can't turn it without the paper tearing or being damaged. I can't. You've got a wheel. You put an axle on a wheel. Could you put 2 axles on 1 wheel? No. That's the point. Actually, that's a good way to think about it. A bicycle wheel. It's got the hub, the axle. If you fitted another axle halfway out, how would that work? It wouldn't work. That's exactly how it is with the stars in the sky.
But you just said it works on both supposed models. So
one point of rotation would work on both models. Here's a little stars above. They can rotate. That's fine. Absolutely no problem. That wouldn't show if it's flat Earth or globe Earth. But if you're rotating around this point and this point, How does it do it? You can't. It won't do it. That's a physical impossibility. That's why
All stars rotate. Did you know that the Southern Cross also rotates east to west? Did you know that?
all stars appear to rotate east to west.
Except for Polaris, right?
No, all stars are moving east to west. Polaris actually is drawing a very tiny circle, and looking at it towards the north, it will appear. It will appear to.
If all stars are rotating east to west, there's not two rotational points.
Okay, if you had, again, going back to the bicycle wheel, you've got a really small wheel. You start it spinning, the wheel's going in one direction. You make that wheel bigger, it's still going in the same direction. Bigger still going in, drawing great big circles. No matter how big you make that, they're always going in the same direction. Going in the same direction around that one point in the middle of the wheel. How can you have another point out near the edge of the wheel and everything seems to be going around that?
Well, Southern Cross rotates around Polaris.
No, it doesn't. Southern Cross rotates around Sigma Octantis. If all stars just rotate around Polaris, how did I show you? I'm not sure if I've still got my window here. I have. Let me try these again. Is that going to show? Yes, it's going to show. Okay, so which is this? This. Let me go back to where the caption is. So this is looking north. So this is looking towards stars rotating around Polaris. Okay? All right, now Polaris is actually just behind the trees somewhere because we're quite far south. And then if we move on a bit, okay, so that's just the Star Trails image. Then he looks the other direction. So now we're looking south towards Sigma Octantis, and somewhere in there, I wouldn't recognise it, will be the Southern Cross. They all rotate. That's like another wheel.
Just look in the opposite direction.
Yes, you're looking in the opposite direction, and you have somewhere around where, can you see the mouse pointer? Somewhere around there, you've got another point of rotation. Let's play on till he does his Star Trails. He'll do that in a second. Yes, you're looking the other direction, but you've got a point somewhere around that cursor there. It's rotating there. How can that be over a flat Earth?
They're all rotating the same direction.
Yes.
East to west.
Yes, they are. No one's denied that.
So what's the problem?
The problem is they're rotating. If this is a flat Earth, it would be a flat firmament, for want of a better word, a flat field of stars above you. But they're rotating around this point, and they're rotating around Polaris at the same time. Impossible.
Show me this flat Earth model.
I haven't got a flat Earth model. Hell, even flat Earthers haven't got a flat Earth model.
You just said if it was flat, it wouldn't do this.
Well, it couldn't, could it?
Well,
no flat Earther has been able to explain, other than using one of those paperweight lens, paperweight glass thingies that highly distorts things. That's their best explanation for it. But we don't live in a solid glass lens looking from above a dome, so that doesn't work. Okay.
Yeah.
What about those? What about those towing? What about those towing tanks I showed you? With those towing tanks where they're towing model ships along for testing, and the rails they're on have to be perfectly level above the surface of the water, which means they have to have a curve in them. I mean, that one was 0.6 millimetres. I think the one that I was given an example of before, which I don't have to hand, I've got a feeling the tank might have been 250 metres long, so it may have been a couple of millimetres in the middle, something a little more substantial, but it's there. Why would you need to do that on a flat Earth?
Well, you got to show me that.
I did show you that. Show you the curve.
Looks level to me.
Yeah, you're talking about a photograph of something 138. Sorry, please let me finish, Bumpy. I'm saying you're talking about a photo of something that's 138 meters long and you're expecting to see 0.6 millimeters. You're not going to see it. They said even with lasers or a telescope, you couldn't see it. It had to be done, and it took 2 weeks. I'm sorry, say again.
So it looks flat.
It does look flat, yes. Your eyes aren't that good. My eyes aren't that good. No one's eyes are that good.
So it's pretty much flat.
It's curved to the extent it needs to be to cater for an Earth of our size, Earth, at a 138 meter length. That's the amount of curve Earth would have. 0.6 millimeters. Yes.
Do you know how big a millimeter is?
Absolutely. We use them a lot over here. Yes.
Yeah,
it's tiny.
Tiny.
Yes, it is tiny.
Yeah.
But it's not straight. Now, if they made them perfectly
it's
straight,
to the point where you can't tell. It's the point where you can't tell.
You wouldn't be able to tell just by looking at it. No.
But yet, you say you see curve at sea level.
Yeah, but then you're not talking about 138 meters. You're talking about several miles. And you can't see that it's bending. What you can see is the effect of it. The fact that something going along that... If you built that rail out to sea, pointing out to sea, and you sent something along it, that rail would eventually, go over the curve beyond that horizon. But if you looked at any section of that rail, you wouldn't be able to visibly see that it's bent.
So the horizon's the curve?
Oh, we're back to that again. The horizon is the point as far as you can see before the Earth itself or the sea gets in the way of seeing more of it because it's going around the curve.
So it's not the curve.
I just said it's the water. Okay, the water surface. I'm trying to answer. The water surface is curved.
How come you can't answer yes or no? Is the horizon the curve of the Earth? Yes,
but
or no?
It's a malformed question.
No, it isn't. It's an easy question. It's the simplest question ever if you're a Globie. Is the horizon the curve of the Earth? Yes or no?
I'm going to ask you, are you talking left to right or away from you towards you? Which direction?
I'm talking about the horizon. I'm talking about, is that curved?
Okay. With accurate enough equipment, looking left to right across the horizon, then you can measure curvature. There's that guy, I've forgotten the guy's name, he did it with...
the horizon's curved.
The horizon has got a curve, but you have to be a damn way up to visibly see it.
So it's not the curve, but it's curved.
I didn't say it's not the curve.
So it is the curve.
Listen, I tell you what. Do you want me to show you a photo of? Do you want me to show you a photo of the curve that I took? Yeah. Okay. Because I was hoping that you'd mention, because I did mention on my third evidence, you can go up there with a balloon and take a photo of it, and that's what I did. This was my MAGE project, Mission Above Globe Earth. So if I whiz it along, let me stop at the right point so you can see MAGE first. Right. This is MAGE, just down there, sponsored by Bob the Science Guy, Arctic Haze, and Just Shoot Me. Thanks, guys. So this is MAGE. She weighed about a kilogram. You can see it's got sensors in it, and forget the cat biscuits. That was just added for a laugh.
Yeah, I've seen it.
You've seen MAGE. Okay, well, good. So you know basically what it is. So this was the view from the... I'll get a better one. This is a view from the front of MAGE. You top left, you've got a camera that's pointing upwards, so you can see the balloon. Next to it, you've got a camera that's pointing backwards. That's an action camera, a GoPro type thing. That's a wide-angle lens, and you're going to get all sorts of distortion. It was only there so you can see a nice view. This main image is the MAGE image. It's a non-distorting, narrow lens camera. What's more, we put two strings across it, that orangey yellow one and the black one. They're held tight by springs, so they are straight, dead straight. Okay, so we'd have something to compare the horizon to. So here's this random points I'm jumping in. This was about as high as we got. We got to, let's see, 38,736 metres. I think it's about 24 miles up. And when we were up there, we were getting 0.03 of atmospheric pressure. 99.97% of all the air that we breathe ain't there. It's almost, well, it is vacuum. It's not space vacuum, but it's a very good vacuum. So in pascals, at ground level we were reading 100,450. Up there it went as low as 260. There's barely anything there. So we were up there, and as you can see, top left, that balloon is now big because there's no air pressure, atmospheric pressure, but it's still the pressure inside the balloon. So anyway, let me jump on a bit to show you the actual readings, if you like. Just want to find the image we took. Talked about the balloons. Actually, that's a good shot. That shows you. You see the different sizes of. That's the same balloon at the same distance. It's getting bigger as it's expanding because the atmosphere around it is a lower and lower pressure. Now, I don't know if you dispute that anyway, so I'm just sort of making the point, really. So what we got. Come on. That's the one actually favours us, and I wanted to get the fair. Right, here we go. Oh, adverts. Oh, don't go away now. Oh, we'll give it a second. It's at 3507. Let's reload that. 35. $35.07. Come on. Right. Look at that. Can you see the curve?
I see a horizon.
Yeah, this horizon here, does that look straight or curved to you? Bear in mind, you've got a straight line above you to compare it with.
Well, I see a horizon. Is that the curve?
Yeah, because let me just draw a line.
So the horizon is the curve?
I think you're getting picky about words rather than what we can see. There is a photo. I'm just waiting for the yellow line to appear.
You said the horizon isn't the curve. It's just the limit.
It is the limit. Yes. It's like being in the middle of It's like being in the middle of a hoopla ring. If you hold that around your head at exactly eye level, as though you're on the ground, it will look like a straight line. The higher up above it you get, the more circular it will look. And I'm just trying to find the kill shot here, the one that really shows.
That's her.
There we go. Can you see that? You see that? Right.
Yeah.
That is a photo. Hold on, that's a photo. That is a photo from Mage at 35,162 metres. That curved line was a mathematically predicted curve visible at 39 kilometres. So I'm not quite that high, so we don't expect it to match perfectly, but it's a pretty close match. Mage photographed the curve of the Earth. The horizon is curved.
So is the horizon the curve?
Right, I honestly think we're going around in circles with this. We really are.
It's a yes or no question.
And I have answered the horizon.
How come nobody can answer this? And when they do answer it, they say it's not the curve.
Right.
So
right. Well, look in front of you.
Is it the curve? Is the horizon the curve?
Okay. Well, let me answer this the best way I can for the last time, because in which case you might just have to accept you're not going to get the answer you want. Looking at that, you can see that the horizon is curved. There's a curve. That's left to right. With regard to going away from you, the horizon is caused by the curve. It's the furthest you can see beyond which point the Earth itself is getting in the way of you seeing any further. All right, I'm not trying to dodge your question. I have answered your question as openly and as honestly as I can. No.
Is the horizon the curve of the Earth?
The horizon is caused by the curved Earth.
So it's not the curve.
Well, like I said, I've answered it as best I can. I accept that you may not like the way I've answered it. Okay, so, but
you didn't. But
no, I did answer.
If it's a yes or no question, and you don't give me a yes or no answer, it's kind of confusing.
Yeah, but that's like the sort of, when did you stop beating your wife, or have you stopped beating your wife? Yes or no?
No, it's not the same.
Well, no, but that's how it feels, because if you say yes, then that's sort of saying, well, you used to beat her. Do you see what I'm saying? So not all questions are not all questions are straight yes no answers. Do you like apples? Yeah.
In your model, it has to be curved. Did you know that?
In my model, I've just said that the horizon is the point beyond which you cannot see because of the curved surface of the Earth. That is my answer.
So it's not the curve.
I've answered it.
Right?
I've answered. Okay.
So if it's not the curve, what you just showed me is not the curve.
I've just shown you that the horizon, the point of the horizon,
but it's not
looks curved from 35 kilometres up. Now, okay, let's go back to your evidence. You said about the mountains and the bumpiness, and I, to be honest, I'm not even going to address it because nobody disagrees. I don't know anyone who
nobody disagrees.
I don't know anyone who would say there aren't mountains, who wouldn't say the surface of the Earth is bumpy, and that's flat earthers as well. Even Nathan Oakley himself, I think, would agree that the surface of the Earth is bumpy. So there's no argument there. I'm more interested in your.
You should all say it's bumpy, right?
Hey, it's
they all say it's bumpy?
Right. Okay, tell you what, it's a bumpy spherical Earth.
Because when you say it's flat, people like Fight the Flat Earth, Resurrect, Team Skeptic, they all want you to measure flat.
Yes, but okay,
right?
Is the ocean bumpy?
Yeah, it's bumpy.
In what way?
Waves.
Yeah.
The waves exist.
Yeah. Maybe a couple tens of feet, but
bumpy.
But
how do you know something is bumpy?
You tell me. It's your claim.
You'd have to know something is flat, right? To compare it to.
Okay. Go on.
Right? So you would know that it's bumpy because some of the land is flat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you would be able to measure some flat land, right?
But then you've got places like, is it Kansas or wherever, and they say it's flatter than a pancake? There's no great mountains there or whatever, are there, to my knowledge?
Yeah, there's no curvature.
Well, then you can see forever. If there's no curvature, you'd be able to see for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles. You'd be able to see the Rockies.
You think you'd be able to see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles?
Why not? There's nothing that's getting in the way. From what you're saying, there's no Earth curve. You've already agreed that there's no mountains or whatever in Kansas. And leaving aside things like trees and buildings, what would stop you from just seeing?
Well, have you heard of perspective?
Perspective will make things smaller. So grab yourself a telescope so you can see further. So can you see the Rockies now?
No.
No, because they'd be around the curve of the Earth. I presume you've seen the new Blackpool Swan, or whatever it's being called now. The thing with
I've seen
that photo with Ranty. Do you understand, whether you agree with it or not, do you understand why we say that proves a globe and that it's impossible on a flat Earth?
Well, you guys say it's impossible on a flat Earth.
Yeah, but do you know why we say that?
Yet you don't have a flat Earth to model it from.
Don't need
to
it.
Say that. Why don't you need it?
Okay, if you know the height of something, we know the height of Blackpool Tower, 157 metres or something like that. Okay, we know how far away it is, so that gives you two sides of a triangle. Therefore, with basic math, you can work out how big it will appear. Its angular size at that distance, what angle you need to look up to it. The same with the mountains. We know how tall they are. We know how far away they are. You can draw a triangle from you to the mountain, up to the top of the mountain, back to you. There's your triangle. You can work out the angles. The problem is, for flat earthers, is your Blackpool Tower is there, your mountains are here. You should be able to still see the mountains higher, but you can't.
Yeah,
Perspective,
distance.
but not that much. That's the point. You can work out.
Yeah, they do.
Of course, they shrink as they go. Everything gets smaller as it gets further
Yeah,
away.
exactly.
Yes, but
Yeah,
so
exactly.
does Blackpool Tower. So Blackpool Tower can't be taller than those mountains at those distances. It physically
yeah, it
can't.
'cause it's closer. Yes, it can, because it's closer. It's closer. Like when I go outside,
Yeah.
I look down the street at the Rocky Mountains, okay? The mountains are in the background. I have a tree
Yep.
20 feet away from me. The tree is taller than the mountains.
That's how it would appear. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, exactly.
So if you were stood,
the same thing. It's perspective.
now let's move that tree.
And-
Hold on,
and it's a
Bumpy.
black
Hold on.
swan.
Let me counter that. Let's move that tree instead of 20 feet away from you, a mile away from you. Would it still appear bigger than the mountains?
Maybe. I don't
No.
know. It depends on your angle. Well, a building would.
Well, it depends on the size. So we know the size of the mountain, the height of the mountain. We know the height of Blackpool Tower. So as things move away, they look smaller. As the mountain moves away, it looks smaller. We know the size it should appear. That's fine. The same with
Well,
Blackpool Tower. Now, when Blackpool Tower is right close to you, whoa, it's massive. It will block everything. As it moves away, it will look smaller. And at that distance, it should look smaller than the mountains.
What's the focal length on that camera that
doesn't-
took that picture?
First of all, I don't know, but that actually doesn't
Shouldn't know.
matter. Are you
does
saying that a
matter
change of
because it's
focal
done.
length will make Blackpool Tower look suddenly get taller?
Yes, it's called forced perspective. You ever heard of that?
Excuse me. I have heard of it, but I know. Give me an example, because I did hear about that recently. Give me an example of it.
Well, it's a way photographers manipulate perspective, and it depends on numerous things. It depends on the focal length, depends on what objects you're using, what objects you're trying to look at, and it depends on how your camera's tilted, how it's what height it's at.
Tilt won't affect
It all
that.
depends on a lot of things.
Tilt won't
It's called
affect.
forced perspective.
Yeah, tilt would not affect that business of the tower and the mountain.
No, focal length will
Um,
of the camera.
No, I'll have to say, with regard to that, I'm not a photography expert, so I can't comment on the effects of change of focal length. But I fail to see that, in effect, what you'd be talking about is zooming in on one object while not zooming in on something that's further away.
Well, did you know that photo is also a black swan? Did you know that?
Go on, then. Tell us.
Do you understand what the black swan is?
Oh, I've come across the black swan. I'm just going to mute myself a second, but please tell me about it. Okay, I'm listening.
Well, the black swan debunks the globe geometry. That's pretty much all you really need to know.
How does the black swan debunk the globe?
Well, the horizon's farther than it should be because it's supposed to be your Earth curve. It's supposed to be your geometric horizon is 1.2 times the square root
Of what? 1.22 times the square root of
I can't remember, but the
observer's
that's
height in
the
feet.
thing- that's where your geometric horizon's supposed to be.
That's where your geometric
For like
horizon. That's where your geometric horizon is.
For like a 5 foot tall person looking out at the horizon, it should only be 1.22 miles away. Okay, so that
Now, what's
horizon
yeah?
is too far. It's too far. It's too far for your geometry.
Right, that 1.22 times the
good.
square root of observer's height in feet. will give you the distance to the geometric horizon. Yes, only we ain't looking at the geometric horizon because we've got an atmosphere. Atmosphere contains distortion and refraction. Sometimes that horizon, the apparent horizon, is in front of the oil rigs. I'm sure sometimes it's right at the base of the oil rigs. In the Black Swan photo, it is well beyond it. Of course, the distortion and the refraction happen to be so much and so bad on that day that the oil rig itself is distorted to buggery as well, which is why you've got wibbly wobbly cranes.
The oil rig is a red herring. The horizon is the argument, because your horizon's supposed to be Earth curve.
Are you not looking through the atmosphere then?
Horizon... No, you are.
Yes, you are.
Looking through the atmosphere.
Yeah, and the fact that the atmosphere has distorted the cranes of the oil rig so much, do you not think that says anything about anything else you're looking at? Or is it only distorted the rig and nothing else?
You're seeing the rigs. Do those rigs exist? You're the one saying that those rigs are being loomed up over the horizon so you can see them. Because if the Earth was a specific size, which yours is, your globe Earth, the cranes wouldn't be visible, but you can see them. So you're actually saying that that's a hologram.
No, I'm not saying it. You don't know what a hologram is. I don't think you know what a hologram is. Well, you need lasers and shit to make a hologram. But what you could, you
know what I'm talking about. You think those rigs aren't really there. You think they're being loomed up.
Okay.
Around a curve.
They are being everything is being affected. Even items a bit closer to you are being affected, and the effect becomes more apparent with distance. What it is no more than, I'm going to use my trusty piece of paper again. You're looking at this piece of paper, and more of it is being lifted up so you can see it. That's all it is. And since a distance of about 69 miles, if I recall, is 1 degree, we're not seeing 69 miles. We're seeing perhaps, the guesstimate given was about 10 miles. So 1/6 of a degree of distortion. No. That's all it's needed to lift up to see that horizon beyond. You know that I've done...
How big would the circumference be if... How big would the circumference be if the horizon is 10 miles away?
But the circumference of... Okay.
The Earth is supposed to only be 1.22 miles away.
No, you can see 1.22. That's if you're 1 foot tall. It's 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. So if you went to the top of a building, you will see further. Your visual horizon will be further.
You're saying the horizon is refracted.
Everything you see has refraction.
Yeah, you're saying then how do you draw a tangent?
That's to the geometric horizon, which you can't visibly see. Let me show you something.
How do you do that if you can't see it? How do you do that if you can't see it?
I will show you, because I did an experiment. Have a look at this. So I've got a ball with a tin tack on it.
You're assuming a ball.
I'm modelling the globe Earth. Okay, that's what I'm doing.
You're assuming. Well,
I'm assuming nothing. I'm just testing refraction. Okay, I've put a tin tack on the top of this ball.
That ball has a geometric horizon. You're saying we never see a geometric horizon.
I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. Okay. So what we got is you can see the ball there. So I've got two cameras. Yeah. The phone there. Listen, Bumpy.
Is that ball geometric?
Of course it's frigging geometric. Now let me show you. Let me show you. I tell you what, let me show you, then you can disagree. Okay? Are you not going to let me show you my evidence? Because I actually did an experiment here.
You're showing a geometric horizon.
Which you would have.
Here. And now you're saying, but then you say when it comes to reality, we never see the geometric horizon.
No, I tell you what. No, I tell you what. You can see that there, that yellow ball. You're looking through air. A ball has a geometric horizon, if you like, but even there, listen, you have to let me finish. No, Bumpy, please let me finish, okay? Let me show you this. It's short. Then you can try and pull it to bits, all right?
So I've seen the video.
Oh, have you? Is that why you don't want to see it now? Because
No, you can play it. But
okay,
you're just
all right. Well, I've got it.
denying what I'm telling you.
No, I've got it on silent, so we can see the yellow ball, the tin tack on top. You've got that purplish or bluish area there, but you can't see it on the main image. So what I do is I pull a lens in between. I'm just explaining it there. I pull a magnifying glass in between the camera and the ball. Look at that horizon, whatever you want to call it, visual, apparent, or geometric. And as the line, let this finish, because this is the money shot. Because as I move the lens in between, come on, John. So I move the lens in between. Get on with it. There we go. As the lens comes down, watch that horizon there, and lo and behold, as I move it, you can start to see, let me pause it there, you can see some of the purple. It has been loomed up. You can see beyond your physical edge of the ball. Because
you're assuming that the Earth is a sphere, though.
What I've shown you,
that's what you're doing.
What I've shown you is that
put a ball there, assuming the Earth is a globe.
I'm assuming jack all. What I'm showing you is that with refraction,
Earth curve. That's what you're saying. You're saying am I right? You're saying that the horizon is refracted Earth curve. Yes or no?
No.
Then what is it? You're saying it's refracted.
Yep. Well, if you'll let me,
then it has to be refracted Earth curve.
It's refracted Earth surface. What we have is that tack appeared right on the horizon. We bring refraction into play. You can see beyond it. So if that was your oil rig, you can now have a horizon that's way beyond it, only because of refraction. Because if I take the refraction away, you can no longer see that purple area. The refraction of the atmosphere, or in this case a lens, has extended how far around the ball you can see. Boom. Mic drop.
You're saying that the horizon in the black swan photo is refracted Earth curve. That's what you're saying.
No, there is a geometric horizon wherever that is. The atmospheric conditions change The atmospheric conditions change day to day. Sometimes that visual horizon is in front of those oil rigs. Sometimes it's behind. Sometimes it's way behind. Your guys went apeshit saying, hey, this proves that you can see too far. And I have just shown that, no, with refraction, you can see around a curve.
You're saying that the horizon in the black swan photo is refracted geometric Earth curve. Do you know what geometric horizon means?
Yeah, but apparently you don't.
You don't. You're the one saying you never see a geometric horizon.
That's right.
That's what you're saying.
Yep.
So how do you draw a tangent to something you don't see? How do you do that?
You don't have to see it.
You have to see the geometric horizon to draw a tangent to it, to know the radius. You have to do that. That's geometry. Saying refracted horizon is debunking your own globe geometry.
Could I ask you, do you wear glasses?
No.
Okay. Have you ever put on someone's glasses, some real strong glasses?
Yes.
Yeah, and everything gets distorted. Your TV's still there, your table's still there, your cup of coffee's still on the table, but if you went to pick it up, you might knock it off because your hand doesn't quite go to the right place. It's distorted by the glasses. You can't see properly. The cup is there. The cup is physical. The cup has not moved, but your eyesight has changed because of the distortion of those thick glasses that you put on that you don't need. This case, the atmosphere distorts. There is a geometric horizon at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, but you can't see it because you've got some stinking grey.
And how do you know it's there?
Is your cup of coffee still? Is your cup of coffee still on the table? No one's moved it. It's still there.
There's a cup of coffee. There's a cup of coffee.
There is a geometric horizon. There is a geometric horizon.
You're saying there is. You're saying that there's. Yeah, I see a cup of coffee on my table. There's a cup of coffee on my table. You're saying that there's a curve. You're saying there's a geometric horizon, but you don't see it. I can see the cup of coffee.
Okay, let me turn this around and ask you a question then about the black swan. Okay, never mind about exactly how far that horizon is and why sometimes it's in front or behind. There's a horizon. Sometimes it's in front, sometimes it's behind. Okay, would you agree?
Why is that? Why? Yeah. Why
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm going to ask you. If you've got a flat Earth, how the bloody hell have you got a horizon?
Perspective. It's not Earth curve.
So
the
does
horizon's not Earth curve. You just admitted that the horizon moves.
geometric
Does
doesn't
your
move?
Earth curve-
But I'm
does
asking
your
you.
Earth curve move? Does your Earth curve move?
I'm going to try and find that photo.
You just said the horizon moves.
The
Which means
the
it's
apparent
not
horizon, yeah, like in the coffee cup
That's
example,
redundant.
your coffee
All
cup,
horizons-
your coffee cup is physically in one place. Depending which pair of glasses you put on, your coffee cup apparently moves.
Did you know that the horizon is apparent? It's not the apparent horizon. When you say the apparent horizon, you're conjuring up two horizons because you're saying if there's an apparent horizon, there must be a geometric horizon. That's what you're saying.
Well, unless
But
the Earth doesn't
The
exist.
horizon is apparent. The horizon is apparent. That's redundant when you say the apparent horizon. The horizon's already apparent.
No, because you have lots of types of horizon.
So the
Hold
so
on,
the
you've got
horizon-
geometric horizon, you've got a visual horizon, you've got a radio horizon. How far do radio waves go? Or a TV signal? It'll only go so far, and then it reaches a horizon beyond which it can't go. My major mission, before we launched it, the only site picking up its signal was us. As it went higher, you could draw a circle getting bigger and bigger, covering more of the UK. When it's at its maximum height, its signals could be picked up from 400 miles away. It was high enough that its observer height, square root, all that sort of thing, its horizon was then 400 miles away. When it was on the ground, it was maybe 10 miles.
Again,
Because it could see
you're
further
saying
round the
there's
curve.
something there. You're saying there's something there that we don't ever see. It's pretty psychotic. You know that, right?
Well, technically, anything that you look at isn't exactly there. It's just that the amount of... let me finish my sentence, pal. The amount of distortion there is so minimal you couldn't measure it. But technically, everything. Your eyes are a lens. You're bending the light, and then it's turning into a signal. You look at anything, any distance, it will be refracted slightly. You're in an atmosphere. It lenses light. It bends light. Like in my example with those towing tanks. Hold on. Let me finish my point. With that example with the towing tanks, it was 138 meters long. A laser is not accurate enough to measure because of atmospheric distortion at 138 meters.
So the horizon we see is not geometric.
That's correct. Well, actually, to be really accurate, the horizon moves backwards and forwards depending on atmospheric conditions. So there would be a potential. Hold on, there would be a potential time when that apparent horizon does match the geometric, but you're not going to know. So basically, to all intents and purposes, you can't see it.
So the horizon we see is not geometric.
That's correct.
Okay. Welcome to Bumpy Earth.
Well, I would like an explanation for a horizon at all. You know the black swan photo with the horizon in front, or that image I showed you with the ship. Why? Yeah, in fact, that image I showed you with the ship. I haven't had an explanation. How come that you could only see the masts and the sails and none of the body of the boat?
Perspective.
But perspective makes things... If you had a square and it moved away from you, that square gets smaller and smaller and smaller until it's the tiniest, until it's too small to see. It doesn't get...
It's not going over a geometric horizon because you just said it's not geometric.
I didn't say it is not geometric. There is a geometric horizon.
So the horizon
I'm saying sometimes...
is not geometric.
Sometimes, due to atmospheric distortion, the refraction, sometimes you can't quite see as far as the geometric horizon. Other times you can see beyond it.
So only when ships and buildings are obstructed is that's a geometric horizon, right?
That's not what I said.
When we see too far, and we see a horizon too far out of your globe maths, it's refraction. That's what it is.
You know that light bends, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
but I'm still trying to get this point. Is the horizon we see geometric?
No.
Welcome to Bumpy Earth. It's not Earth curve. You realize what you say when you say it's not geometric.
I realise what I said,
Earth.
and I don't think you're.
So you agree? You actually agree with Fight the Flat Earth and Red's rhetoric. So you concede that the horizon is not Earth curve.
Okay, like I said though, Bumpy, I was not party to that discussion. If you said that I've now expressed the same view, to be honest, that's good. If we've actually, then if I've agreed with what they said, I'm happy.
No, it is good. You're coming to reality. The horizon is not geometric. It's not Earth curve.
Well, I'd like
There you go.
the reality.
How do you
Okay,
feel?
Chicago skyline, that famous photograph of the Chicago skyline looking across Lake whatever it was, at 45 or 50 miles. Why can't you see that all the time? If it's perspective, why could we see it on that time?
Because the weather changes.
Go
The
on.
horizon moves. The horizon moves.
Yes, the visual horizon moves. That's
why you can't see it all the time. Because the
Welcome.
horizon moves.
Bumpy, I've got to say this. Welcome to Globe Earth, because that's exactly what we've been saying about the Black Swan photo. That horizon beyond the oil rigs is because the visual horizon has moved. You got it.
Because it's not Earth curve. Earth curve doesn't move. Earth curve doesn't.
No,
doesn't-
geometrically it doesn't, because it's a physical object. You're right.
Yeah, because the horizon's not physical Earth curve. That debunks your whole globe. Sorry.
The Earth doesn't get bigger. The Earth doesn't get smaller. It's physically the same size. So the geometric size, its diameter, its circumference, and all that stays the same.
Yeah.
So does the
Well, how do you
distance
get
to
that?
the geometric
How do you
horizon.
know that? How do you know that if you never see the geometric horizon?
So how do we know what?
How do you know it stays the same size if you never see it?
Are you suggesting the planet gets bigger and smaller, or
No,
the
you
or the
are.
flat? No, I'm not.
You're saying, yeah, you are. You're pretty much saying that the horizon moves, that it expands and contracts. I don't know what to tell you. It's fucking crazy.
No.
The horizon.
You got your coffee cup
Black
on your
Swan
table.
moved.
Back to your coffee cup, Bumpy, on the table. It's still sat there. It hasn't moved. You put on one pair of glasses. You put on another pair of glasses. You look through binoculars at it. It appears to move backwards and forwards and so on. It hasn't actually moved. It's geometrically the same, but visually, and apparently, it is not. But it actually
I know the
is.
coffee's there. I know the coffee's there. I'm drinking it, right? I'm going to be drinking it.
Nice.
You assume that the Earth is curved, that the horizon is curved, and that the curve is there.
Well,
That's
the
what you're
evidence,
assuming.
like that photo of that ship, shows you that the perspective is not an explanation. Perspective would make it go. That's what I said about a canoe. If you had a one-man canoe paddling away, it would get smaller and smaller due to perspective. Long before it reached the horizon, you wouldn't see it because it's too small. But you get a telescope out, you'll see it again. But with that ship, which is so much bigger, it does not disappear due to perspective because it's too big at that distance. But
So
the
now
bottom half of it has gone.
So now the horizon is geometric.
No, I don't think you're getting
then
it.
what's
That
blocking
could
it?
be my failing
What's
for not
blocking it?
explaining it properly.
What's blocking the boat then?
The curve of the Earth.
So it's geometric.
No, you
Right?
just.
Right?
Oh man,
You
no.
You say it's not geometric, but then you say it is geometric.
There
I
is.
don't know.
Right.
Strange.
Okay, let's try one more time. Okay. If you take a ball, it has a geometric size. We're not pumping in extra air or taking any out. It's got a size. That size is unchanging. You look at it with a different pair of glasses, it will appear slightly different. But the actual ball is exactly the same. So you've got the physical geometric size and shape of that ball, and then you've got the visual apparent size and shape and whatever distortions of that ball. That's all we're talking about.
And how do you know the geometric physical size if there's always refraction? How do you calculate that?
Well, now you're talking about measuring the size of the Earth, but you can calculate that in all sorts of ways. Eratosthenes had a pretty good stab at it with a couple of sticks, didn't he? And angles to the sun and so on. And we use more. Well, with a stick a metre high or whatever, I guess that refraction doesn't come into it. Although, actually, there would have been an effect due to refraction of the position of the sun that he probably didn't account for. His answer was not perfect, but the fact that, firstly, he realised it was a globe, secondly, he realised a good technique to do it, and thirdly, he did it, is pretty damn good, even if he was a few percent.
It was a globe?
Sorry, say again.
How did he realise it was a globe?
I'm not sure of his thinking. Maybe he actually looked at the stars and thought, hey, how the hell can you have 2 points of stellar rotation? Maybe he made a towing tank and realised it didn't work unless he put 0.6 mil of curve in his 158 metre tank. I don't know.
So he knew it was a globe before he did his experiment.
I would assume so, yes.
Well, what experiment did he do to know that the Earth was a globe first?
Well, you know all sorts of things, but then you might do a test, an experiment, to try and evidence it. I know that
doesn't prove anything. That doesn't mean
science.
It's true.
What does science do? Does science prove things?
Apparently not.
No, it doesn't.
So you have a belief. You have a belief that the Earth is a globe.
He had a thought, a hypothesis, an idea. He would have thought, I think the Earth is a globe. How could I test that and find out if I'm right or if I'm wrong? And so he devised that test and ran it. Now that test would give a size, as accurate or inaccurate as it was, it gave him a size, but it showed him that even if he wasn't exactly right about the size, it wouldn't work if it was a flat surface, bumpy or otherwise.
So he said it wouldn't work because of...
It can't, just due to maths. Basic trigonometry.
Where's this flat Earth model that you're talking about?
I'm sorry, say again.
You said it wouldn't work on a flat Earth.
No, it can't.
Model that you... Well, how do you know?
Because maths. If you...
Well, where's the model that you use math?
You can do a triangle. I think he did his reading when the sun was overhead over a well in Alexandria, I think. So he knew that the sun was 90 degrees up. You go a certain distance away, measure the angle, and he knew the distance from that point to the well, and then you do the maths, and you do that with a few sticks. You find the differences, and you can work out the fact it's a sphere and the size of that sphere. I'm not sure how accurate. Maths.
Yeah, but he's assuming a globe.
No.
He's measuring distances based on what?
Well, I'm not sure how. I think they paced them out. That was as accurate as they could be. I think he paid someone to pace the distance to actually walk it. Which is why, that's not greatly accurate. That's not how they would do it nowadays, but that's the best he could do then. So you can't criticise it. He used the best equipment and techniques available at the time. If you wanted to work out the height of a tree, you could measure the length of its shadow, work out the angle, and the length of the shadow, work out the angle, you can work out the height of the tree, can't you?
Sure.
Yeah. Now, let's say you did it at a different time of the day, so the shadow was shorter or longer. Again, you could work it out. It's a shorter shadow, the angle is steeper, but it should come up with the same answer for the height of the tree. Now, if you did that several times, but it came out with different answers for the height of the tree, then that could be because you're walking down the slope of a hill. Do you know what I mean? He knows that there's a curve of the Earth, so those shadows wouldn't. It would work on a flat Earth. If you're sort of 10, 20, 50 feet away.
It wouldn't work on a flat Earth.
No, it would work on a flat Earth and measuring the height of a tree. But if that tree was on a mound and you moved a few feet away, that shadow gets distorted because of the shape of the mound. So that you'd end up with different heights of the tree unless if you were saying to yourself, this is still flat, then using those shadow calculations to calculate the height of the tree would not come up with the same answers. If you then thought, hey, maybe I'm on a hill, it can all fit again.
Earth, right?
I'm sorry?
On the hill? On a hill? Bumpy Earth?
Bumpy
right?
Earth. Oh, dear. Well, look, I'll tell you what, Bumpy. We've been here now for nearly 2 hours. I must admit, I think it's been a fun debate. Are you up for having a look at some super chats now?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I think everyone will agree that despite our disagreements, it's been civil, hasn't it? Neither of us have lost our rag or anything like that. Right. So let me go back. Okay. Oh, you'll like this one. So as I said, I will read out super chats unless they're grossly offensive. Right. First super chat from Fight the Flat Earth. Thank you, Fight, for £5. Says, hip hop hippie is a liar. That's not what we said. The horizon is caused by the Earth curve. Got a lie to Flurf.
Yeah. It's not Earth curved in.
Okay. I mean,
he said it's caused by Earth curve, but it's not Earth curve.
It's caused by the Earth curve. Yeah. So he is saying. No, I know.
Say that, but that doesn't mean. I agree with one of his statements.
Okay. Well, basically, having now seen his comment there, that does align with what I was saying. So you are correct in that I am saying the same as them. Tim Pryor super chatted $5 US. Thank you. For the 100th time, the horizon is not the curve. It is caused by the curve. I can't believe he still doesn't understand this.
So it's not the curve.
Okay. Fight the Flat Earth for £5 said, it's a shame Bumpy's mum used lead paint instead of formula milk. So sad this could have all been avoided. Oh dear. Any comment on that?
His mom should have swallowed. Just saying.
Oh, well, I'm sure Fight can take a comment like that. Cygnus TSP super chatted $5 US. This might be a first. Mr. Sensible rightly getting so frustrated at Flip Flop Flappy that he levels an F-bomb or two. I don't think I did drop an F-bomb, did I? I might have said bugger, something like that, but I don't think I dropped an F-bomb on you, did I?
No, I don't think so.
So, no Cygnus, nice try, but even Bumpy Earth didn't get me flustered enough to F-bomb. So, the Bard super chatted $5 US. If the Earth is round, why are my palms so hairy? Okay. I'm not sure there's anything to say to that, is there, Bumpy?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, nor do I. Tim Pryor again, super chatted $5 US. For crying out loud, it's not the curve, it's caused by the curve.
I agree with part of that statement.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the curve.
Fight the Flat Earth, who's obviously feeling generous tonight, super chatted £5 again, saying, I'd like to congratulate HHH for being the world's first living brain donor. He would be the only survivor of a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, I'm his nemesis. So
yeah. Okay. And Fight again for £5. The American dream is that you can be whatever you want. It astounds me that Bumpy Earth 420 chose to be stupid.
Well, I never claimed to be something I'm not, so.
Okay, fair enough. Tim Pryor again, $15 US. Thank you, Tim. Oh my God, are foods farts? No. Can certain foods cause farts? Yes. Is the horizon the curve? No. Is the horizon caused by the curve? Yes. Get it? Got it? Good.
So it's not the curve. Thank you.
Next we've got Now Pinion for 59 Swedish krona. Thank you, Now. I think we all need a break after listening to this person. This super chat offers 3 seconds of wonderful silence, starting now. Thank you. I think we all do appreciate that now. And then a super chat, $5 from Mr. Mitch Goldstein, who popped into the room earlier on. The horizon is a visual reference line. It doesn't exist physically. similar to the equator.
I agree. The horizon is not physical. I totally agree with that.
Then we got a super chat from a new name to me, Elamanis Poo, for $2 US. You're not debating them. Argue Mr. Sensible's points. Okay, I think that was for when you were saying Craig says and Red says and so on. And then I said, look, it's me you're supposed to be arguing with, whatever their views may
you
be.
agree with them.
It turns out, and I'm glad, because otherwise, if we've got different answers, one of us, by definition, must be wrong. But it turns out we come up with the same thing.
Well, hopefully you guys don't continue to show pictures of the horizon being Earth curved.
Okay. Then we got Second Best Bob for £5, saying this guy is still hip-hop hippie to me, a rubbish Poe. Love you. I'm not sure if he loves me or loves you, Bumpy. Which do you reckon?
So what's a Poe? Is that somebody who acts like they're something they're not?
A troll. Yeah.
No.
So is it a case of you're really believing what you're saying, or are you just on a wind-up? That sort of thing.
Well, you guys agree with me. The Earth looks bumpy, and
we do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Tim Pryor again for $5. It is caused by the curve. Holy crap!
What curve?
Could be the curve that I showed you with the mage pictures. I don't know. Tim Pryor.
Is that not the horizon? That's the horizon.
Tim Pryor again for $5 US. You just showed him curvature. Loved how he totally ignored that because he does not understand the word caused.
Well, you showed me a horizon, right? I think you showed me a bunch of horizons today.
Okay.
But they're not Earth curve. Remember.
Yeah. Well, 9 o'clock hero super chatted £4.99 for Mr. Sensible's relief fund. Thank you very much for that, 9. I appreciate that. Then 3 Ron super chatted $5 US. Congratulations on finding a particularly dumber than average flurf. Not an easy task. So I don't think he's a fan of yours, Bumpy.
Haters gonna hate. I'm like I said, I'm already above the. I'm ahead of the curve. I'm a bumpy earther. Like flat earthers need to catch up.
Okay.
Bit behind.
Maybe you need to go on and debate Nathan Oakley about that. Or do you know his views on your bumpy Earth theory?
No, I could debate him on the Earth being bumpy.
Okay. Sarcastic Barman for £2. Do we have a flat Earth map? Lol, nope. So can you produce a map of your bumpy Earth?
No.
All right, well that's an honest answer.
I could if I didn't work and had a boat and maybe an airplane or something. Yeah, then I could give it a shot. But no, I don't have a map.
Okay. David Oliver, super chatted £5. This flurf has shown me that the stupidity horizon is bigger than I thought. Is it a geometric stupidity horizon, Bumpy, or just an apparent one?
Well, it's not Earth curve. I know that much.
Then Sarcastic Barman again for £2. What the hell obstructs on a flat Earth? I did ask you that with regard to that ship. What's hiding the bottom half? You just said perspective, didn't you?
Well, nothing's really being obstructed.
So why can't you get a telescope and suddenly see the hull of the ship again?
I don't know. It's not Earth curve. I know that much. You guys say it's not Earth curve, so I don't know.
Well, the thing is though, Bumpy, it's not just us. I mean, there's 204 people, and I think we were up to about 240 at one point, and the majority of those, maybe all of them, but I'll just say the majority of those would agree with what I'm saying. The thing is, it's not just us though. It's 99.999% of the world's population.
What? That
would agree that the Earth is a globe. Yeah.
Oh well, you need a geometric horizon for Earth curve.
Yeah, we got one. We keep it hidden. We don't let you look at it. Then we got Flow Rider for €5. Thank you, Flo. A little token of admiration for your patience. This is why we love you. Well, thank you for that, Flo. And then Brother Grief for £5 says the apparent horizon is still a horizon, which should not happen on a flat or bumpy Earth. This guy is full of it.
I don't know. Go put a camera on a table and you'll see there's a horizon. You know what's
What,
really
are
funny?
you talking about the far end of the table, though?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a longer table, you're gonna have a further horizon. But what's funny is when we're in school, when we were taught in school that flat Earth is crazy because boats go over an edge, and you guys are the ones who say boats go over a curve. We don't say boats go over an edge, but
No.
you guys say.
If they went over an edge, they'd drop off, wouldn't they? But they go over the curve.
Drop like the curve, you mean?
I'm sorry, say again.
Yeah. Drop like your curve?
Then they're still on the surface of the water, but that water is curved because it's what's the word? It's following its gravitational equipotential. It's basically leveled itself out into a nice curve. Perhaps we could do that for another day. Of course,
Okay.
if gravity didn't exist, I wouldn't have got my Mage probe back, but there we go. Right, so next one is Judy Bassett for €8. Thank you, Judy. Says, have you considered a basic test to screen your guests to avoid situations like this? Well, Judy, what I'll say, all credit to you, and I mean this genuinely, Bumpy, this has been a fun discussion as far as I'm concerned. I have enjoyed it. I found it frustrating at times, but you've not been rude or nasty, and nor have I. So I think it's been quite positive, really. I still think you're wrong, but I thought it was quite enjoyable. It would be nice to be able.
Passionate,
Sorry, guess what?
know? We both get pretty passionate.
Yeah, and
Sure, everybody does.
passionate's okay, isn't it? I mean, for instance, you're not at all like a certain Mr. Oakley who mutes people, boots people, shouts over them. I mean, we talked over each other from time to time, as you said, because of the passion of the debate, rather than just trying to drown each other out. So I
I
thought
think you should go on there.
No,
I think you should go on the show.
I will happily debate Nathan if he goes on a neutral channel. It could be mine. That's fine. It could be someone else's, like modern day debates, or agree to disagree. I will not go on his because it's not fair. I mean, at no time did I deliberately mute you or anything like that, did I?
No.
No, which is exactly what he would do. Right, Dandelion S super chatted $2 Australian saying, love you, babe. Good debate, guys. Well, there you go. I'm not sure if she loves you or me, but thought it was a good debate. So I think we should both take something from that one. And then,
Love you too, babe. That's my fiance.
oh, is it? Oh, right. Oh, that's Dandelion. Oh, okay, cool.
That's my soulmate. She's my partner in crime.
Well, hopefully she enjoyed the debate. Then Global Mom super chatted $5 US, saying the geometric horizon is also the local horizon, which is the horizon we see with buildings, trees, and mountains in the way. So I mean, you got
It's not Earth curve.
okay. Then we got
Not Earth curve.
Channel Right super chatted £2. What about space footage of the curve? I showed you Mage, which went up to 38 kilometres, but what about from the ISS and things like that?
I don't know. I think that stuff's all fake. Gotta replicate that. Meaning you guys gotta build your own space station and rockets and go up there and replicate it. And then I might believe it.
Have you
Then
ever
I'll
seen the ISS?
What do you mean? Like on
Go
video?
out one evening. No, with your eyes, going out and actually you can see it naked eye, and you actually see it go over. You've not seen it.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
haven't
Well, I'll tell you
looked.
what. I thoroughly recommend, whether you believe whatever it is or not, I don't care. But I recommend going to a website. There's plenty of them. One of them is called Heavens Above. You can put in your location, and it will tell you when the ISS is going to pass over, what direction it will be, how bright it's going to be, the time it's going to come into view, the time it's going to go out of view, which is all very difficult to explain unless it really is there. But go and watch it, because it really is a fascinating site, Bumpy. Okay. Let's just have a look, catch up with any... let me just refresh the page, because I think I'm just about up to date on chats. Oh, there's a couple more. Right, let me just open it up. Brother Grief again, £5 said, some of the Mayans believed the world was on the back of a giant crocodile. Makes more sense than a flat earth.
I don't know, man. Could be. I have no idea.
David Oliver, super chatted £5 saying, ask Bumpy Earth why a helium balloon falls down in a vacuum chamber.
There's no air.
But why does it go down? It goes up when there is air.
Because the weight of the balloon will bring it down.
That's true.
There's no air. No way for it to be buoyant.
Yeah, and you know what's in part of the buoyancy equation, don't you? Little g, gravity.
Yeah, well, gravity doesn't exist.
Ah.
It's just...
Well, tell that to your helium balloon, which just fell down. Maybe something for another time.
There's no curve. There's no gravity.
Well, listen, Bumpy, I would be open at some point to doing this again if you're up for it. We could perhaps choose a different topic, maybe the ISS or gravity or something.
Yeah, I like gravity. I like talking about it. So
okay.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
All right, we'll look to arrange that then, because I think that was very successful. I don't think I persuaded you. I know that you didn't persuade me, but I thought that was fun.
Yep.
And we still got over 200 people, which is wonderful.
Oh,
wonderful.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, do they all say that the horizon's not the curve?
Well, you'd have to. You can watch the stream back because all the chat is attached to it, and it's also on the screen. Maybe someone did. I don't know. Maybe there were some flat earthers in there. I do welcome flat earthers to this channel, and as long as people aren't being abusive or copy pasting crap, they're welcome to put their opinion out. And my mods do and should allow that. So there may well be a flat earther or two, or 666 of them. Sorry?
Well, flat earthers don't think the horizon's the curve, so you guys are just agreeing with us. You know that, right?
I don't think. I'm not going to get into it now, but
Well,
yeah.
What do flat earthers think the horizon is curvature?
I don't know their explanation. You'll have to ask them.
So you don't know what flat earthers think the horizon is?
Well, I don't think they understand it. Excuse me. Just gonna have to take a swig of drink.
I mean, that's like the only argument really is the horizon the curve? And if it's not, then the Earth's not a globe.
But then you
guys admitted.
Well, yes, but if you take that, then you'll have to explain things like why do they have to put a curve in the rails of towing tanks? Why do they have to make the towers of suspension bridges lean out slightly from each other? Why do ships go over the horizon? Why are there 2 points of rotation in the night sky of the stars? Why does the sun set? How
ships don't go over the horizon though, because
the sun does though, doesn't it?
It's not a physical curve.
There
They can't go over something that's not physical.
Okay, listen, I'll tell you what, it is just over 2 hours. Honestly, Bumpy, I've really enjoyed it. Let's do this again sometime, yeah?
Let's do it.
Cool, okay. Well, listen, I don't know if you... I'll give you a chance for some final words if you want to give your thoughts before we end.
All right, yeah, the horizon's not the curve. You guys agree? And... you need a curve. You need the horizon is your curve. It's supposed to be your curve. And you guys concede that it's not the curve. So, I mean, welcome to Bumpy Earth. Enjoy.
Okay.
We'll welcome you in. We will welcome you guys in. You guys are more than welcome to come on. Grass is greener on this side. Everything's good.
Yeah, I heard that the grass is greener and altogether a better smoke.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Well, you do know as well, of course, if too many of us come over to the flat earth side, there won't be much room and some will start getting pushed off the edge.
Well, you guys are going to have to change up your platform and, I don't know, try to find a new way to make money.
Perhaps I could sell T-shirts like Nathan Oakley then and stuff like that.
Like Fight the Globe Earth?
There's loads of them on both sides. But do you want to buy a mug?
I'm thinking about starting a channel. Called Fight the Globe Earth.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
Do it. I need more. I need more material.
Okay. Great. Yeah.
All right. Listen. Honestly, thank you very much. Okay, I really appreciate it.
No problem.
So I'm going to wind the stream up now. Guys, it's been brilliant. Thank you for so many of you joining in. I hope you enjoyed it. I thought that was a good debate stroke chat. Very interesting stuff. Thank you very much for all the members, for all the subscribers in here. Thank you very much for the generous super chats. I do appreciate that. Of course, not everyone can super chat. I do understand that. If you do want to help, one way of helping is to let other people know about the channel. Mention it when you're on other channels. Use Twitter and Askbook, Facebook and Twitter, the lot, and Instagram and MySpace and all those wonderful technologies. So I'm going to say thank you very much. Hope you all enjoyed it. I'm not sure when the next thing is going to be. Oh yes, I am. I better say, yeah, I forgot that. My little box there. Where is it? There. Coming up tomorrow night, 9 p.m. I'm on Fight the Flat Earth channel on Stupidity is Not a Right. So be there or be square. Thank you very much. Stay sensible.
Mr. Sensible, Mr. Sensible, bring me some cheese, and get me only the best if you please, Here are some flowers, let me display them. They look to one or you have Arnold slay them. Mr. Sensible, you are a man. Every subscriber is a faithful fan. Bring your logic and your cheese. Mr. Sensible, help us out please. Mr. Sensible, I needed proof of gravity, so I jump off the roof. It's hard enough, let me go further. Why was I ever such a dumb flat earther? Mr. Sensible, I'm such a clown. I am the laughing stock of the town. Bring your logic and your cheese. Mr. Sensible, help me out please. Mr. Sensible, bring me a sphere, to which the waters of the oceans adhere, add explanations, but let me be candid. So clear that all the fluffers understand it. Mr. Sensible,